Welcome everybody. Welcome to the India Parenting Show. So today we have with us Dr. Parikar. Dr. Parikar is actually a pediatric dentist, and he's going to tell us more about what it means to take care of baby's teeth. So should we start first? Hello, welcome, doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello. Hello, Nerali. Thank you for having me. It gives me immense pleasure to join you guys online. So yeah, we can have.
First, tell us about yourself. What exactly do you do, and what do
Okay.
you have done so far?
Okay. So I am a pediatric dentist by profession. So I run a chain of pediatric dental clinics. So that's again exclusive to pediatric dentistry, and we mainly operate in Bangalore. So that's basically what I do. And again, like I said, we specialize in pediatric dentistry. So this whole field is nascent in itself, right? So the my approach to this, why we are interacting mainly is to educate or I'd say,
New parents? Would you say new parents or older parents?
yeah, educate new parents and create awareness about children's oral hygiene.
Right. Okay, very good. Okay, so I'm going to start with a very basic question. At what age should the child be shown to a dentist? Because if I remember you correctly, I
Yeah,
think that I took my kids to dentists until they were maybe 2 or 3 or whatever, but I know that's too late. So please share with us
understand. Yeah.
what's the right age to take a baby to a pediatric dentist.
Understand. Yeah. See, what happens is the general attitude from most of the parents and their families has always been that these teeth are going to fall off.
Right.
Firstly,
Right.
and the attitude towards taking them to a pediatric dentist would happen, or say even a general dentist would happen only when they start having some problems, or when the neighbors point out that there is something black on your child's teeth. Have you not taken care of this? Right. So these are the basic things which prompt parents to take child to a dentist or say a pediatric dentist. Okay. So pediatric dentist comes into picture mainly because this is a specialized profession. Okay. So pediatric dentists take 3 years of extra training apart from being a general dentist, and that's how this whole pediatric dentistry to parents is introduced. So basically, what we say or what we recommend is the first visit to a pediatric dentist should happen by the age of 1, or even early when the first tooth erupts.
Okay.
So it's ideally when the first tooth comes. That's mainly now we might wonder that children usually have around 20 teeth and we adults have 32 teeth. Why should the first visit happen so early?
Right.
Right? This is mainly to counsel the new parents on how to take care of the children's teeth,
Right.
right? And related to whether we should brush the child's teeth.
Yeah.
Obviously the child won't let us brush at this age, so it's mainly to discuss these things, mainly to discuss feeding patterns, when should the child stop, I mean, the feeding be monitored or cut down. We will have to discuss these things. So basically, the brushing basically starts, or I would say simply put it as the first visit to a pediatric dentist can start as soon as the first tooth erupts.
Okay. Okay, fine. So that could be around 8 to 9 months. What exactly is what would that?
See, so first tooth usually erupts by around 6 months of age. Okay, 6 to 7 months. It could be somewhere between 6 to 10 months in most of the population. So it can be any time as soon as the first tooth comes. And even if that's not the case, by first birthday, you should make it a point that you should visit a pediatric dentist. All parents.
Okay. That's good to know. Okay, so now tell me one thing. How should the parent be brushing the child's teeth or tooth? Maybe they just have one little tooth coming out. So how should they deal with?
Exactly. Yeah. So to begin with, I'd say the cleaning of the child's gums. Okay, cleaning of the child's gums can begin soon after the parent starts nursing, right? So the cleaning of the gums should happen even when the child is nursing.
Okay.
So after that, yeah. So this again, this is a very simple step which we most of us are pretty much aware of. This can be simply done by taking simple gauze or a washcloth
Okay.
and just rubbing the gums after nursing. Okay, this is mainly for the infants. Okay, so coming to those who have just one tooth erupted or are teething or having their teeth,
Yeah.
the simple way again is to use a child-oriented toothpaste and a brush. Okay, so again, the next question most of the parents who ask me about is we have so many pastes in the market, right? So which one should we choose?
Correct.
right? So they ask for specific brands, but the simple explanation here would be everyone is aware of things online. So I'd say a paste which is with at least 1000 ppm of fluoride.
1000
Okay,
ppm. Okay.
ppm of fluoride in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the majority differentiator here is most of the pastes have less fluoride.
Okay.
Okay, so less amount of fluoride or even no fluoride will not help or prevent cavities. That's the differentiating part.
Right.
Right. So basic idea of teeth brushing is mainly to prevent cavities,
Cavities, right.
right? And then the odor and everything, the other things can come off later. But firstly, we don't want the child to have cavities, right? This has lifelong implications. So to start with, I'd say it would be at least 1000 ppm of fluoride with a finger brush to
Okay.
start with.
Fine. 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 Okay. And so now tell me one thing. Cavities are what we know about. What are the other problems that a baby or a child could have? Because cavities is basically like a warning sign that you have to rush to the dentist. But what are the
Yeah, yeah.
I know there are many other things also, I'm sure. Please.
There are many other things. Yeah. So to simply to begin with, I'd say we might have seen a lot of children sucking their thumbs, latching onto their thumbs, right? So this is one of the commonest problems which people are aware and tend to ignore until a certain point. So ignore until maybe 6 or 7 or 8, until the child tends to have crooked teeth, and then people realize that the child has had crooked teeth maybe because of the thumb, whether they start wondering, right? So basically this is one important problem which needs to be addressed as early as 3, right?
Yes,
So when I talk as early as 3,
as 3 years, okay. So
yeah,
basically,
so
the thumb sucking causes the teeth to come out. That is the reason why you want to stop it, not for cavity.
yeah, that is
It's not.
no, that is not for cavities. That is not for cavities. This is one simple way through which the teeth can be moving out or inclined outwards. Okay. So apart from this, like we spoke of cavities, there's one more interesting parameter here. When the child is somewhere around 1.5 to 2, we have nowadays a condition named as early childhood caries,
Okay.
right? So early childhood caries is something which affects children who are less than 3, children who don't have even 20 teeth.
Okay.
So in this state, children as young as 1.5 to 2 end up with destructed upper anteriors,
Destructive.
right?
Caries means
Destructed or
what?
yeah, destructed because of decay,
Okay.
right? Destructed because of caries, cavities, and we end up having children age 2 who have literally flat teeth, right? So the other problem when we talk of is obviously the appearance of the child,
Yeah.
which matters,
Right.
which can only be enhanced if the child has healthy teeth, right? Then definitely we can talk about speech. Speech is definitely enhanced when we have teeth in our mouth. Simple, right? And again, lastly but most importantly, diet part. Definitely, the child will have a better diet if they have strong teeth,
Right.
right? And again, one more point to add would be the psychological factor, right? Children definitely are bullied
Yeah.
even as young as 4 or 5, right? So this happens. So this may or may not be noticed by parents, but around among their circles, we see a lot of disturbances happening among their circles because of the child's teeth appearance,
Right.
right? So these are all the factors. These are one of the commonest factors which I believe we should consider.
Yeah, and I think that this is very important in the social age and social media rather. Social media is so
Yeah,
prevalent that kids are getting photographed by their parents and by
yeah,
everybody, by themselves also on video. Like they're being shot. Like their whole life is getting recorded. So it's really important that the
right,
child,
right.
for the parents' sake also. So, but you're absolutely right that psychologically the child could actually have an issue if he doesn't look good. I mean, and teeth is a very
Yeah, yeah,
important. It's a smile, and you're
yeah.
smile. So I think what you're saying is really relevant, especially in these times. So
In
yes,
these times, because I would not relate to it maybe 20 or 30 years ago, right? So even then the issues were the same. It's just that there's more awareness about these things, right? Personal hygiene, oral hygiene, and of course it's a very simple trick. Brush your child's teeth twice a day. It is tough, it is tedious, it is challenging, right? But they definitely need to be done. It's simple. Otherwise we end up treating as early as 1.5,
right, okay,
right? 2, and this continues throughout.
right, right. Okay. So now, are there any specific conditions that happen like beyond 2 and 3, and what things you want to watch out for? I mean, can you just share, because there are viewers,
Yeah,
kids who are older, not just babies, but older kids. Can you
correct,
share
correct.
your views on that, please?
Yeah. So what happens is, like I said, I'll continue with that. Okay. So like I said, children end up losing teeth by two, 2.5. Okay. So 1.5, two again. So what happens is, generally when the decay starts, and after a point of time, the teeth don't hurt, and the teeth just stays there. So parents are usually not worried that these teeth are going to fall off, right? They are very true. The teeth definitely falls off. But what if the tooth falls off 3 or 4 years prior to its time of exfoliation, right? So example, if a child's molar is supposed to fall at 10, what if it falls at 5 or 6 without causing any complications to the child, without causing much pain or discomfort?
Okay.
Obviously, the children generally get accustomed. They adapt very quickly.
Right.
They adapt normally also, but also because of the fear that they would take me to a dentist, right? So fear is also a major factor here. So what happens if we lose the child's teeth before? What might happen is, the new tooth which is supposed to come in that place,
Yeah.
its position might get blocked, because we have a developing jaw, we
Right.
have erupting teeth. So erupting teeth move towards space. So example, if we have 4 teeth here, and if one tooth here is lost, the new tooth which is coming here will tend to tip
Okay.
and narrow down the space,
Okay.
right? So that definitely blocks the new tooth. It can possibly impact that tooth's eruption itself, or definitely can lead to the new tooth erupting sideways or crooked, whatever we can call it, right? So this is very important. So people need to understand that the teeth need to exfoliate at their particular age groups.
Right. Okay. So, okay, so molars, like, do they have control when they fall? No control, correct? When the teeth fall, that happens
Now,
naturally.
there is a timeline. There is a definitive timeline, an age group, I would say, when the teeth erupt. Say by 2.5, we get 20 teeth.
Okay.
Some children, it might be slightly delayed. And when I talk about this, again, the front teeth, upper and lower incisors, they fall by around 6 to 7,
Okay.
right? Then we have the molars, which start falling by 9, 9.5, and go all the way till 11.
Right.
And these are replaced by premolars.
Right.
Okay, so we're left with one more set, that's the canines. So they again exfoliate at 11 or 12. So we'll have to work according to the way these teeth. Basically, what we try and educate parents whenever we have a counseling sessions is the timeline of their exfoliation,
Solution.
right? So the teeth which are going to stay longer definitely need more attention,
Right.
right?
So I have a question. That suppose a baby has got bad teeth, will that affect their permanent teeth also? Will they also come out like, whatever? I mean, not knowing what.
Yeah. So let me explain it in a very simple way. So we have baby teeth which is erupted in the child's mouth, and we're not taking good care of it. It has a cavity, and children's teeth, basically the baby teeth, the cavity spreads rapidly. Again, there are a lot of factors. The child may not be rinsing properly, right? The tooth may not be clean. Children munch
Yeah.
much more frequently than adults. So if this tooth is decayed, we have a new tooth which is developing right below it,
Right.
right? So it's very simple that if this tooth is affected, and if the nerve of this tooth is affected, then the effect of that can be definitely seen on the new tooth.
Right.
Okay, this unfortunately can only be seen when the new tooth erupts,
Right.
right? The effect of what has happened can only be examined when the new tooth erupts.
Right.
So it is again more vital to maintain the tooth which we have and allow it to fall off normally, so that the new tooth can erupt well and healthy.
Right. Okay. Okay. And also, two things. One is that kids these days eat so much more junk, correct? And they eat
Right.
all these Swiggy and all of these things. They are in lockdown, especially. They are eating a lot more.
Self,
Okay. And
yeah, self-dependent, I would say.
correct. So,
Yeah, on ordering stuff.
is there a way that you would say that certain foods? I mean, you can't say that ban certain foods, but what can you eat to clear the mouth besides brushing? I mean, brushing is going to be the ideal, but if you just had lots of
Yeah,
snacks at night, and for whatever reason the kids don't want to brush, for whatever reason, because kids can.
yeah, yeah.
What food can actually at least reverse some of the effects of the sweetness that stays on the teeth? Like, can they have carrots or cucumber or something that can help in balancing it? I know the ideal is to brush, but anything in between.
Unfortunately, I'd not say that there is something which will stay. See, basically, I'll explain why it happens. So, whenever we eat something, whenever, mind it be any food, okay, the difference is some foods stick onto the tooth and stay longer.
Right.
And when we have vegetables, as stuff like we mentioned, carrots, the child may not hold on to it for long, right? The child may swallow it. So the basic idea is these things are swallowed quickly, and others like cookies or candies tend to stick on the tooth surface,
Right.
right? So basic idea is whenever we eat something, our oral pH comes down. Okay, so oral pH comes down, and then the salivary mechanism, which is basically protective in nature, may not work well when the pH is low. So its protective action is limited.
Right.
Right. So obviously, foods which are tend to be digested easily, or which the child doesn't keep in the mouth for long, try. I mean, those the pH is again balanced quickly.
Right.
Whereas any other food which is sticky in nature tends to stay on, and the oral pH again drops to a level where it is, I'd say, dangerous for the teeth for a prolonged period of time. So we don't want children to have something which will, prolong the maintain the lowered pH for a long time. Again, like to clear this out, brushing, if it's a problem, I can offer a simple solution is to rinse, right? So when we talk of children who are 4+, right, they can definitely learn to rinse. But again, I meet a lot of patients who find it very, rinsing very a lazy exercise,
Yeah.
right? And children naturally would learn to rinse and be encouraged to do it properly. The difference is properly, right? That will happen only by 7 or 8, right? So most importantly, what parents can do here is firstly encourage, okay, and parents of course follow what adults do, right? So they try to imitate what the parents do. So first simple thing which people can modify is to make sure children are around when they're doing these
Role model.
things.
Role model. Right.
Simple role modeling helps. Okay. So having said that, and secondly, rinsing after every meal, every single meal, right? So now during this lockdown and for the next few months, children are going to be home. So there's a lot of different varieties of foods which are going to be introduced. So the chances of decay are definitely more, right? So again, control. How long are we going to keep pestering kids over their foods? Again, this is again very difficult, right? So simple attitude change towards oral hygiene, rinsing after every meal, and definitely brushing before going to bed. At least once, I insist on that. Okay, brushing, of course, we all know it, but making sure children do it properly is also important.
Right. Okay. And one last question, doctor. You said, they've got, I think that, for my kids when they were younger, the put some preventive thing to protect the cavity from happening, like, basically like some filling, some preventive
Yeah.
filling before the cavities came.
Yeah.
What exactly is that? Would you say medical?
Yeah. So basically, when we talk of preventive measures, we talk of two things. One is the dental sealants, which we do it in elder kids, some around 6+, and the other is the fluoride application. Dental sealants and the fluoride application. Now, as we all know, there are different varieties of treatments. Adults have hundreds of treatments available. Children obviously have something relatable number of treatments, but we just have two measures to prevent cavities. Okay, so like I said, coming back to 1 to 2 year olds, they need to visit during that particular age group as soon as the first tooth erupts to assess the risk of cavities, right? So cavities basically again can spread from parents to the child as well. If a parent is having cavities, lot of cavities,
Yeah.
that can definitely be spread to the child.
What do you mean?
Okay,
Because
cavities, because of microorganisms, the number of microorganisms causing decay, the count is high in the parent's mouth, the child will be at a risk to develop cavities.
genetically, you mean?
Not genetically, it's just that the oral microorganisms which are there. So basically, if a parent has cavities, it is best recommended that those are addressed
Okay.
first.
Okay.
Okay, so good oral hygiene for a parent again reflects onto the child,
Role model.
right? So role modeling again. So again, that point is there. So secondly, like, sorry, where were we?
about the cavities and sealants and how to prevent them from.
Yeah, preventive measures. So when I talk of preventive measures, again, when I said children of 1 to 2 year old age groups, I talked about risk assessment here. So children who are at risk, children whose parents are having cavities and are having a difficult time maintain the child's teeth because the child is obviously not allowing at all. So they can get preventive fluoride varnish applications done. So varnish applications can be done periodically over the next, I'd say, every 3 month interval,
Okay.
right? So this again helps prevent cavities in these age groups. Only again, asterisks here, only if it is done periodically and at a regular intervals.
Right. Okay.
Right? It should not happen that few parents do ask me that if we have got a fluoride application done 1 year ago,
Yeah.
but the child still has cavities. Right? So this works only, this is a preventive measure. It works only if it's done intermittently. Right? So this is one way to prevent cavities. It just strengthens the outer enamel and makes it resist cavities. Now this will work only if oral hygiene is good along with this, right? So this is one part of prevention, the fluoride application, right? We also covered about the fluoride, the high concentration fluoride, which is required in paste to prevent cavities. The other part, the other facet would be the sealants, the dental sealants which I spoke of. So dental sealants are like a thin plastic coating over the permanent tooth so as to prevent food lodgement over the surface.
Right.
Understand? So when we have our third molars as adults, we definitely agree on this point that we need to put some extra effort to brush that tooth, right? So a 6-year-old child has two molars, one canine and four incisors. Okay, so 10 teeth in the lower jaw, and then the permanent molar erupts, which is independent of any of these teeth, right? It erupts right at the back.
Yeah.
So when the child wants to clean this particular tooth where every food will accumulate, the child has to open his mouth very wide and then try and brush, right? So this teeth is like an infant in the child's mouth, right? So first year, it needs a little bit of extra attention. We definitely know this, that the permanent molar gets decayed, lifelong visits will be there, right, to a dentist. So sealant basically helps here. It what it does is just provides a plastic coating over the tooth surface so that no food sticks and food simply washes away from the surface. So this is one way which can help prevent cavities in a 6 to 8 year old.
Okay.
This also can be repeated when the child is around 12 years of age when there is one more molar erupting. That's the second molar, right? So this is again very important aspect of prevention, which I'd say must be done. I mean, a few schools where I practice here, the schools themselves are doing the fluoride application programs as a curriculum. It's there in the curriculum itself. But on the other hand, the fluoride, the sealant applications need to be done on a regular intervals as well.
Okay, great, excellent. Okay, so thank you, Doctor. It was very, very useful to all of us. I've also learned a lot for sure. One quick question: that during the lockdown, are you doing online consultations with patients?
Yeah, definitely. Well, because we have had no other. I mean, parents had no definitely have. I mean, they had a difficult time reaching out to us, reaching out to our front offices, and so online consultations definitely have begun post lockdown, and it is definitely, I'd say, although we all can agree that dental treatments need to be done, right, if required, and can't be rectified online, but it does provide some basic relief or buy some time when we are dealing with a particular treatment. We are definitely postponing the major treatments now for the last 4 to 5 months and emphasizing on oral hygiene maintenance.
Right.
So it's become more convenient, I'd say, for the parents when they have a difficulty, they can directly reach out to us, and even the child can interact with us, and basically helps them keep motivated, right? Which is again important.
Really good. Thank you. So good, that was really very helpful. Thank you very much, Dr. Parikar. And Dr. Parikar, you can be reached. We'll share his phone number with you at the end of the interview. So thank you very much, Doctor. And everybody,
Most welcome.
have a
Thank
safe,
you for having me.
stay safe. All the best to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like our videos, do subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.